Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about procurement. So there are a few questions I found on Reddit about what procurement is and what are the different aspects of it. So I thought I'll actually go through that and create a small session. Okay. So for the folks who don't know what procurement is, let's say you're running a business, you need some raw materials or you're reselling a product. You need to call your supplier and tell them you need certain amount of quantity for a given price and when do you actually need it, right? The whole purchase process is what is called procurement. Okay, a simple phone call process actually works for most of the small businesses, but the moment you start scaling a little bit, you need some kind of predictability, low higher quality, lower cost. So all of these aspects start coming in. So that's when a procurement tool kind of becomes important for your business. All right. So with that as a context, let's get into the questions. So the first question is streamline your procurement process, choose the right e-procurement software. So this question seems like a title for a blog post, and I suspect that was the intention, but there wasn't a good answer to this. So I thought I'll generally approach, how does a procurement system should be set up. So before we get into how or what to look for in a procurement software, let's understand what is that we are trying to optimize when we want to automate your procurement process. Okay. So the objective of any procurement team is two things. We'll have a target metric and we'll have a control metric. So like usual. So the target metric for procurement is that you never run out of stock. So either to start your manufacturing or to fulfill your customer orders, or you even for like internal consumption, etc., you need raw materials or finished goods or some kind of like items. So this is what you're going to procure. Now, the objective of procurement team is that you would never run out of stock. That means your people are actually waiting or your orders cannot be fulfilled. So that shouldn't happen. Okay. So that is a key metric you're actually looking at. Now look at the control metric, right? So if that is the case, I can just, pre-order like hundreds and thousands of items and keep it in my warehouse somewhere. The problem with that is that it is going to increase your cost. Cost here is the cost of storage and cost of, purchasing it earlier. That means the cost of funds. So all of these things start adding up when your business starts scaling. Okay. So the second metric is like keep the storage cost. Okay, so the target metric is zero stockouts or limited stockouts, and the control metric is lowest quantity that is actually stored at your end. Sorry. So let's like summarize the metrics we're actually looking for. So I'll say metrics, and the first target metric is uh, low stockout percentage should be low. And control metric is the cost of storage. This should also be low. Okay, so this is what we're trying to do. Now, any procurement, coming to the first question, any procurement system that you're trying to purchase should help you achieve this with minimum amount of effort. Even a spreadsheet will help you make this possible. But when you're going to use a tool, it means that you are going to have slightly higher level of operations. So those tools should actually help you achieve these things very, very easily. Okay, so let's kind of try to understand from a tool perspective what are the different things that need to be there. Okay, so the first step in procurement is basically to know what is that you're supposed to order, like which quantity is running out, what products are expected to be ordered in the future, and how do you pre-order this so that just when the order gets placed or just when the consumption requirement actually comes in, you have the products ready in your warehouse, but not too early, right? So this process, which is called procurement planning, right? When and how much to order. So this is procurement planning. All right. So second thing, when I know how much to order, so the next step is how do I get it on time? And second is how do I keep the cost low? Okay, because time is a limiting factor over here. Now, considering these two options, what I do is let me type that down. So this is a process called RFP, which is request for proposal. You're basically telling all your vendors saying that, hey, this is the quantity I want, and this is the time by which I actually want of this quality. When can you deliver, and what is the cost you're going to charge? So you send it to a bunch of vendors and tell them and expect a response from them saying who can actually fulfill that request. This need not be done every time. Most of the time who the vendors are, who can fulfill, etc. So this kind of becomes redundant. But when you have it at a large scale, this becomes an essential process. But this is completely optional for most of the smaller businesses. Now, we've sent a proposal, the proposal received, who can actually fulfill, then you actually place an order and get fulfilled. So this is called purchase order. Okay, people call it PO. So this is when the purchase order actually comes in. And the last thing, you actually want some kind of an alerting system. So alerting system tells you, because practically a lot of things go wrong during this procurement process. The alerting system will let you know if anything has actually gone wrong during this process, so that you don't see unexpected delays when the order is supposed to be delivered. Okay, so that's what an alerting system actually does. So hopefully this answers the question. So if I look at a procurement software that I'm actually going to buy to automate my procurement systems, I need to know when and how much to order, which is the procurement planning process. Second is, how do I get it on time and keep the cost low? This is a request for proposal. Sometimes it can be managed just with the vendor management portal, where we know what is the cost and what is the quantity they can, what is the quality they send, and by what is their lead time, etc. So all of those things can be planned. The third thing is the fulfillment process, the purchase order placement process, right? And the fourth thing is alerting. So alerting is also good to have. A lot of procurement systems don't have, but if you have, a time sensitive or a fast moving operations, I would highly, highly recommend getting an alerting system as part of this process. Okay. All right. So that's question number one. Now let's move on to procurement. Second question. So how does procurement differ for made to order and made to stock? Okay. So this is very interesting. So made to order is, these are manufacturing terms. Okay, made to order and made to stock. Sorry. All right. So these are manufacturing terms. Think of cars. Let's say you go to a Hyundai dealership. So you have established cars and their models. So you can make a purchase, and if the inventory is available, you actually take it yourself. So the car is not customized for you. Okay, which is called made to stock. That means company expects, let's say, 100,000 cars to be sold in the next quarter. They start making those cars, they come into the inventory, and the sales process actually happens. So as and when their prediction or expectation keeps changing, so they kind of keep ramping up production. That means you are creating this product, you're manufacturing this product to stock. Okay. The second one is made to order. Now, let's say you want to go for a Rolls Royce. Now, those cars are made specifically for you. So you place an order, you give your requirements, and according to your requirements, the manufacturing happens, right? So which is called made to order. Another example you can think of is, like printed T-shirts. Now, if you want to buy T-shirts for your company, those are not, created and stocked because you have your own custom designs. So those are made to order. Okay. Now, this is the difference from a manufacturing point of view. Now, how does a procurement process differ for made to order versus made to stock? Now, if you are doing manufacturing, you're not purchasing final products, you basically are purchasing raw materials. So if you are doing made to stock, most of your raw material, pretty much all of your raw materials are planned ahead of time. So you have a demand planning. That means how many cars am I going to sell? How many cars do I, that determines how much cars do I want to manufacture. And that determines how many parts do I actually order. And everything has a lead time. So that's how I plan for made to stock, which is pretty straightforward. But in case of made to order, I place an order. Once the order actually comes in, then I place order to my suppliers. So the suppliers, deliver the product, I create the product and they sell it. Okay. Imagine that you're doing some interior designing for your house. Now, all the different elements, the furniture, the kitchen slabs, and everything, the burners, all of those things are made specifically for your house and your dimensions and the materials you requested. That means once you agree with your interior designer, so the person goes to the manufacturer and the suppliers. The suppliers place an order, it comes to the manufacturing facility, it gets manufactured, it comes into your house, right? The difference in terms of these two processes, made to automate to stock, is the fulfillment lead time has a significant impact on made to order processes. Okay, for example, the customer has already placed the order. After that, the fulfillment request actually happens. So till the product gets delivered, the manufacturing cannot start. That means people are waiting. And once the manufacturing gets completed, that's when the customer actually starts getting the product. That means the wait time for the customer is very long already. That means your procurement process needs to be much, much faster. Okay, and these are also custom requirements. Like you don't just send out a standard product saying that I want these. You send custom requirements in terms of like, hey, in this product I want these modifications, these modifications, these modifications, etc. So it changes a lot from one order to the other. Okay, so those are the like kind of like the major differences. So I know the procurement, or we'll call it lead time. That's a lot. The these materials change a lot to orders. So these are the primary differences that you would actually see. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So how does the process of supplier qualification work? So suppliers are also called vendors. Qualification is simply a process of, how do you know that they deliver the product according to your needs, your needs in the sense in terms of cost, quality, timeline. So these are the three things. Needs, quality, timeline. All right. So this is how you actually qualify. So this is an ongoing process. There is no specific thing that you can actually do. You start when you start your business. You start onboarding a few suppliers based on your relationship, based on your understanding, based on referrals, etc. Over a period of time, you understand what kind of suppliers you need, what kind of timelines you need, and your network kind of keeps expanding. Okay. When you go beyond a certain point, then you put a formal structure for qualification of supplier. Okay, so this includes a few things. The first thing could be, so the first thing is basically, evaluation. So evaluation is, can they even deliver the product? Okay, so can they expect a product? Okay, so this is done by, like doing sampling of the product, doing visits to the warehouse, so or their manufacturing facilities or their fulfillment facilities, and trying to use a product in your own end, like in a smaller capacity, etc. So that's kind of how you actually do the evaluation. Then comes pricing and negotiation. Okay. Then basically your relationship. Okay, so relationship building seems like a little obvious, but in case of suppliers, this might make or break your business, especially given the supply chain issues that we've been facing over the last 4 5 years. Having the right relationship at a good volume and a good NPS will actually help you become the preferred partner for a lot of these suppliers. That means when there is a supply crunch, your orders will have a higher chance of getting fulfilled than the others. Not only that, even during like normal operations, when the supplier is actually big enough, they need to have the intent to fulfill your orders first, or at least in a preferable way, right? So that actually comes from your relationship building. So a lot of things that you would want to do is, how do you actually showcase them? How do you provide like certain amount of terms, either in terms of cash or something else? So you'll have to do just like how you manage your partners on the sales side, you have to manage your partners on the supply side also. Okay. Yeah, this is mostly it. There is no standard process. You kind of, start doing all of these things as you grow as a company, and you figure out a process when you actually start, when you scale. And once you have a few vendors onboarded with that kind of a process, it becomes very easy for you to qualify any kind of new suppliers also. All right. So hopefully this helps you get an overview of how procurement actually works in you know in a lot of in the goods and services industries. So if you have any questions around this, feel free to comment and ask us anything else you want us to explain. Happy to do that. Have a good day. Thank you.